Rishi should have been destroyed by a long margin. He kept rolling his eyes and getting frustrated. Wow, if you think that the Labour Party is going to win, then you better start saving. They're going to break new records of poverty, mass migration, Islamists running amok in your neighborhoods. Let's take the case of illegal migrants, my favorite subject, or actually my biggest area of concern.
To smash the gang.
Smash the gangs. What? Especially when we have a PM who says, oh, these people are so vulnerable, we love you so much, come here, we're going to put you in hotels and give you spa baths. Muslim children be allowed to pray in schools. Yes, your schools are going to be Islamized and Labour's going to do it. Alright folks, this is Harris Sultan and wow, I didn't know that Rishi Sunak, who is trailing so far behind in the polls, is going to destroy Sir Keir Starmer so convincingly. Have we not heard that the Conservatives are going to be destroyed in the next elections? Yet every decent poll after the debate put the results of the debate as a tie. As a tie. Rishi should have been destroyed by a long margin. Then what is it? Why did Keir Starmer fail so massively? Well, the answer is simple, because Keir Starmer is only relying on two hopes. Number one, rely on the Conservatives' incumbency factor, which is people are usually sick of the ruling party. And the second hope is just to say, oh, I'll fix it, without giving a single plan on how he's going to do it. How many times did Rishi Sunak ask Keir Starmer about the £2,000 of taxes that he's going to put on average families?
He would put up everyone's taxes by £2,000. £2,000 for £2,000 by £2,000. £2,000.
At first, he kept rolling his eyes and getting frustrated, but eventually, he just said, it's a lie, it's a made-up number.
He's put in one of his own policies. He's asked the civil service to cost it, and they've come up with this figure of £2,000.
You know, when someone accuses you of something that's supposed to be a lie, you don't just say, oh, you're lying. You slap them with actual facts. Keir Starmer had many opportunities to say, well, Rishi, the independent body is wrong. Our estimates suggest that the taxes will only be raised by £100 or £200, or there will be no new additional net taxes. But he didn't, because he knows that the real number could be as high as £5,000. Yes, this estimate is a conservative estimate of Labour's taxes. Wow, if you think that the Labour Party is going to win, then you better start saving. As bad as the past has been, Labour's victory is gonna make you forget the past 14 years. They're going to break new records of poverty, mass migration, Islamists running amok in your neighborhoods. I don't think Keir Starmer gave any answers. He kept saying, oh, we'll do it, but not once did he mention how he's going to achieve any of his lofty goals. Let's take the case of illegal migrants, my favorite subject, or actually my biggest area of concern.
What will you do with people who come here illegally?
To smash the gangs that are running this vile trade.
Oh, smash the gangs. What? Did you see how he kept saying vulnerable people?
Putting some of the most vulnerable people in boats across the channel. Very vulnerable people.
Thank you.
Yeah, look at these vulnerable people. I know these people. They're not all vulnerable. I grew up listening to this in the mosques. You seriously think that if you get a few hundred people smugglers, these people are going to stop coming here? Especially when we have a PM who says, oh, these people are so vulnerable, we love you so much, come here, we're going to put you in hotels and give you spa baths. No, the only way to stop migrants from coming into the UK is to tell them that they will not be welcomed here. This is the only reason why Australia doesn't have hundreds of thousands of illegal migrants. Because here in Australia, we simply say, you're not going to become an Australian if you come here illegally. You want to become an Australian? Fill out a freaking immigration form, like the rest of us. That's why no one comes to Australia. But you know what they do then? They go to more welcoming countries, like the UK, where a Prime Minister candidate says, oh, these are vulnerable people. Look, I know the Rwanda plan is far from perfect, but it is something. Look, the migrants hate it.
Deportation! Stop deportation! Stop deportation! Stop deportation! No Rwanda! No Rwanda! No Rwanda! No Rwanda!
With Keir Starmer, they will keep coming because there is no deterrence. Please come, let me hug you. I can't even begin to imagine how bad 5 years of Labour are going to be. The guy is literally begging for the Muslim vote, and they have put 18 demands to him, which he will end up accepting. Have a look at some of the demands by the so-called the Muslim vote. Number 1, issue guidance that Muslim children be allowed to pray in schools. Yes, your schools are going to be Islamized, and Labour's going to do it. They're not going to make them more Christian. They're going to Islamize them. Well done. You got rid of Christianity, but you replaced it with something far more primitive and barbaric. Number 2, remove the new extremism definition introduced by Rishi Sunak earlier this year. I made a video on that, link in the description, but that definition actually ensures that the government doesn't fund Islamist organizations that have ties to proscribed Islamist organizations like Hizb ut-Tahrir. In effect, if Labour wins, your taxpayer pounds will be going to proscribed Islamist organizations like the Hizb ut-Tahrir. Get this, the UK will be funding Islamist terror organizations. How are you okay with this? That's just 2 of the 18 demands put forward by the Muslim vote. Okay, you might say, well, Harris, he hasn't quite accepted those demands yet. Well, I'm allowed to predict how much of a simp Keir Starmer is to Islamists by looking at his track record, and thanks to Rishi for pointing us in the right direction.
Well, I'd have rather had my job than work for extremists like Abu Qatada and Hizb ut-Tahrir.
Well, the Crown Prosecution Service is an extremist organisation.
No, Abu Qatada and Hizb ut-Tahrir were who you work for as well, so people can Google that and have a look.
Okay, so I Googled it, and wow, these conspiracy theories that the left is in bed with the Islamists are turning out to be true. Back when Starmer was a lawyer, he gave legal advice to Hizb ut-Tahrir. Later on, that became a proscribed terror organization, which I have known for decades that it's a terror organization, but Keir Starmer didn't know. Why? Maybe because he has a soft spot for them? You know what Keir Starmer's defense is? Well, as a lawyer, we have to give advice. Sure, I get it. An executioner has to do his job. But even an executioner who executes rapists, murderers, and terrorists is not proud of his job. That's why he hides his identity. If you are a lawyer, how far will you go? Will you defend a rapist, a pedophile, a terrorist, especially if you knew that he's guilty? I would like to think that you'll draw a line somewhere, or maybe not. That's still okay. As I said, as a lawyer, I could look the other way. Sure, he has to do his job. But as a PM, would you be okay to know that your PM would have a soft spot for something like Hizb ut-Tahrir? People who believe in killing you and me for their political objectives. Wow. He holds soft views towards Islamists, and you are okay to put him in 10 Downing Street? Rishi Sunak went into this debate as a severe underdog, but came out with a tie. YouGov's poll, which was made up of 1,600 participants, put Rishi Sunak at 51%, while Starmer got 49%. Other polls also suggested similar results. This is a massive win for Sunak. You know, I had actually lost all hope. I didn't even watch the debate until some people told me to watch how Sunak destroys Starmer. I was like, okay, let me watch it. And boy, did he not destroy Starmer. If he can do this in just one debate, what is he going to achieve in at least 2 or possibly 3 more debates? Sunak was a lot wittier, energetic, and I'm sorry, convincing. Starmer acted like a typical politician, overemphasizing empathy rather than actually giving solutions.
And Paula, what I would say is my dad worked in a factory. My mum was a nurse. Janet, I'm really sorry. My wife works in the NHS.
You know what? I would rather have a politician give me real solutions than this faux rehearsed empathy. I've been wondering why the Conservatives have not ditched Rishi Sunak yet. Well, they saw something in him. He's fiery, a lot younger, dynamic, and seemingly more real than Starmer. Yes, he's a billionaire, so what? That doesn't mean that he's incapable of doing the job. He didn't focus on empathy that, oh, you know what, yeah, my dad's this, my mum's that, yeah, you know what, we were poor, like Starmer was doing. No, he didn't do that. He gave you solutions. You can criticize those solutions. But on the other hand, Starmer gave you absolutely nothing. Zilch. Anyway, I hope you liked today's video. I'll keep making videos on this subject, and I'll keep trying my best to tell you about the dangers of electing Keir Starmer's Labour. You can support me by becoming a patron on patreon.com/Harris Sultan, or you can simply buy me a coffee. Until next time, ta-da. If you'd like to support my work, you can become my patron by going to patreon.com/Harus Sultan, or you can simply buy me a coffee.